Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to another Cup of Joe with Jack. My name is Jack. I've got my Cup of Joe somewhere here on the ground over here. Today, I have an amazing individual who has succeeded in so many different areas of his life, man. He's a great real estate agent. He is a great individual, awesome friend, very motion packed full of just determination and focus, man. Mr. Tyler Henson. Say hi to the people, guys.
Hey, how's it going? I did not pay for that introduction.
No, dude.
But I should.
Yeah, nah, dude.
Too kind.
Never, man. This guy is awesome. He has accomplished so much in his life, and he has met so many people throughout his journey. If you ever check out his Instagram or anything like that, his YouTube channel, if you ever check out his Instagram page, his Facebook page, anything, him and his wife do real estate and have been doing it for how many years now?
6 years.
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
6 years in the business and has been thriving pretty much ever since. But jumping right into it, I just got a couple of questions for you, man. Just talking about life and where you got from and how you got to where you are now and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
So first, how and what got you into real estate? What really got you included in real estate and sparked your passion for it?
It was honestly, when my wife and I bought, our first home together, it was a really big deal to me, with my past. I have a history of addiction and struggling with that. I was actually couch surfing for, about a year of that. And it just became a dream that didn't seem like it was going to be possible, at one point. Life just didn't turn out the way that I thought that it would. And honestly, battling, with addiction and battling with, financial problems that surround that and emotional and relational problems that surround that. When I finally, really gave everything over to God and completely surrendered everything over to Him and was just set free from all of that, my goals were really kind of redefined. And I never even was like, owning a nice house, like that didn't even care about that, at that point in my life, especially. And I really just told God, I'm like, I just want peace and joy in my life again. I want to be able to pay my bills on time every month. Yeah. And that's really about it, and, where before, of course I had, big aspirational dreams, just, business and, life in general. Right. And it's like, I don't even care about that stuff anymore. Like I want peace in my life. I want joy in my life. And so, God is so good that He blesses us, right, beyond, what we ask for, and so He blessed me, with my beautiful wife, and actually had a really good job that I didn't think I would have, and we're actually in a position to buy our first home together.
Are you serious?
And at this point in time, right, and so it was a really big deal to us. And it just stuck with me. And after that, I really wanted to get my license, learn the business, and I really wanted to give people just an experience, above and beyond, and celebrate them, because I knew, like, if it was a big deal to me, there's a lot of other people that's a big deal to, and really and truly, it honestly scratched an itch that I had, for business and marketing. And I was a marketing major dropout. And so, I saw being able, to flex that, creativity in that area that I've always kind of had a passion for. I actually didn't plan on leaving my job, really and truly. I didn't plan on leaving my job in order to pursue that business. I really just wanted to help people on the side. And I wanted to work hard enough that, people still got the same level of service that they would get from me if that's all that I did.
Yeah.
Right. And so, in order to do that, I had to, keep my numbers small of working, with only a select group of people. And so I focused really on people that really wanted my help. Like, I wasn't out there just trying to, run people down and be that salesperson that's, always
Hey.
hungry for more. Yeah. But, it was through our passion to serve that, it continued to grow, and soon, this vision was born that, we could do this together. And we became passionate about serving people through helping them, buy and sell their homes. It opened a lot of doors for us to share our story and just share our heart with a lot of people that we would never, otherwise, run into. And so, we took a big leap of faith, and we took a big leap of faith and said, you know what? Like, we don't have any kids yet, of course, this wasn't that long ago, so we still don't have any kids yet, but, this is what we said, when we're having these conversations about it. We don't have any kids yet. If we don't do this now, we might never. And we're always going to wonder, like, what if we would have, took that big leap of faith and, to serve people and, do what we love and be able to do it together. We don't want to wonder what that would have been like. And so we just went all in, and, really and truly, God has just blessed us tremendously ever since then. That was when things really took off. I felt blessed before, right? But then when we took that big leap of faith, that was when God really opened doors that we didn't even think were possible.
It was that first step that God told you, hey, go ahead and do it. And it was scary as all get out. But once you did it, it was like, whoa.
Well, and not to go like too deep into this, because I know like we have other questions, but I think this is good. Like, we honestly, it wasn't even then, because we took that big leap of faith, right? And this was 4 years ago, because it was the last election year. And I left my job, and things kind of slowed way down. And then they slowed down to nothing, and we weren't doing any business whatsoever. And we were still busy. We were still working. Like, we were showing houses to buyers. We would go on listing appointments, and they would end up waiting to sell, or we would find the perfect home, for maybe a couple that were looking for a home, and they would just kind of decide to stay put and wait for a little bit, on purchasing, and like just stuff like that
Yeah.
kept happening. And, I finally had to get to a point, because we were hustling, and, just the grit in me, right, coming from that life of addiction. And even though it wasn't my hustle that got me out of it, it's just, the fight is in me, right, to survive. And so what I did, of course, is what, most people, with that survival instinct as, and that's going to be to hustle and try to do everything that you can. And it wasn't anything shady. It was just like, now we're like really trying to win more business, and we're trying to find more people that want, our services. And it was just every time we turned around, something was falling apart. And I finally, I can remember, like, just sitting in our living room, and I just told God, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, maybe I heard wrong, and maybe I thought that you were in this, but maybe this was something that I really wanted, and I'm trying to force it. And that's not where I want to be. And I said, but I really thought that you were in this with us. So if I heard wrong, for one, I'm really sorry. But for two, I need you to open another door.
Lead me somewhere else.
Lead me somewhere else. But I said, I still don't believe that's the case. But if this business is going to succeed, it's going to be because of you and not because of me and all the things that I'm doing. I'm going to do everything within my control, but I'm going to stop trying to force it, and I'm going to back off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to trust you with it. And that's exactly what I did. Like the people that we were currently working with, it's not like I stopped working with them or anything like that by any means. But, but I just quit, trying to force it, right? The door knocking and mailers and like all this stuff that, we didn't normally do to try to just seek out business. We quit all that.
Yeah.
And it was like, we were able to help a couple people. This was toward the end of the year, of course. And so like in December, we were able to help a couple of people and close a couple transactions. And, of course we get paid off of that. That kind of kept us afloat. And I can remember that January, it was January 2nd to be exact. We had a very chill, New Year's Day. January 2, baby, the phones just started ringing off the hook.
Dude.
And it was like, it was like something off of a movie, really and truly, and it was, we were both like looking at each other like, what is happening? Like, this is bananas.
God's going up there going, I told you I had you.
Yeah. Really and truly, and it's been, it's kind of been a wild ride ever since, of just blessing. And, we never forget that moment, of the moment of like coming to a point of like, if this is not going to succeed because of me, like I can do everything that I can, and it's my responsibility to do everything that I can to ensure that I succeed. Yeah. But like, I can't force it beyond that. I have to trust in God, and I have to be patient, and I have to listen, and I have to wait, and understanding that there's action and waiting, because, we still have the responsibility to do what we have, to focus on what we have control over.
Yeah.
And we have this responsibility to trust in God and put our faith in God to do only what He can do, right? Which is all of the things that we don't have control over.
Right.
And it was just, we never forget like getting to that point of realization of like, we've really been trying to force this thing instead of just taking our responsibility and trusting God to do the rest. But it was a moment that was just such a teaching moment. I think that we have to go through those types of things so many times to shape our faith and our trust in God and through our walk with God, right? And the more that we go through something with Him, the deeper our relationship is. But, we're able to have that stability going forward. Like, we've been here before. We know what this looks like, and we know exactly what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you learn from past experiences on what to do next and how to take the next step and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then going into finding your niche for real estate, how did you and Jackie, when you guys got together and got married, did Jackie have like a passion for it, and then you had a passion for it, and when you guys got together, kind of just followed that lead, or how did that come about?
No, absolutely not. I think she's, always had an interest in houses, and that type of stuff. But it was definitely me that led the charge, right? And but I got into the business first, and she started helping me a little bit, and got just a great response from that, from our clients, and so. After that first year, just kind of reassessing like where we're at on this, I've been doing this for a year. Like, is this something we want to continue doing? Do we want to change how we're doing it at all? And we do that, not necessarily in that way, but we do an assessment every year now. We've always kind of done that, but just kind of assessing where are we now? And where are we going, and where do we want to go? Mm-hmm. And so it was just in that conversation. It's like, well, if she's going to continue to help me with this, like, let's bring her into the business. Let's give her official responsibilities rather than just riding along, and just kind of playing a part, or whatever, just kind of helping me with whatever it is that I need help with. Like, let's actually give her a role. And at first that looked like a client experience specialist. Like, her exact role was to make sure that people who worked with us loved and remembered working with us.
Okay.
And so she knocked that out of the park. But then, as business progressed and as we began to grow, it just became more and more clear, that she needed to be a bigger part of the business, and we were praying about it. and she ended up getting let go from her current job, and she was just devastated. And I was like, look, we've been praying about this. Like, this is exactly what needed to happen. You would have never had the courage to leave. I would have never been, I would have never made that decision for you and said, hey, you need to leave your job, and encourage that. This is where we need to be,
Yeah.
and so she kind of went all in, at that moment. And the rest is history, really. She ended up getting her license to make things a lot easier. And not that we have separate clients by any means, but it gives us more flexibility. If we need to go two separate directions, she's fully licensed to handle her own and can do all the things that I can do. And we can just do those at separate, points of time. But we typically, unless we have some kind of scheduling conflict, we typically, work together on the same thing, and so I think it works better that way rather than me focusing on, two or three clients here and her focusing on two or three there. We can kind of work on, all of them together, and so we each kind of have our part in that.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And talking about Jackie's cookies,
Yeah.
I am not, well, rich enough to buy a house quite yet. But if I can get my hands on some cookies, man, those things look incredible for the closing cookies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Freaking huge. They're like this big, and they got like chunks of chocolate in it, like that big, dude.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. They're over 5 ounces each, and she created this recipe herself. Like, yeah, just trial and error. I mean, she had some direction, and she already had a good start. But just through trial and error, making batch after batch after batch, until she figured out like what she wanted, which is this big, massive cookie, and it's like a variation of a chocolate chip cookie, but it's the best chocolate chip cookie you'll ever have.
I'm telling you, Crumble, you better watch your bag, man. We about to put you out. No, I'm totally kidding. Don't come after me, please. I'm only a small YouTube channel. I'm just kidding. And then I feel like you've kind of touched on this in the first question, into your journey as to like into real estate and all that kind of stuff. Talking about, where you came from and the trials you kind of went through. But kind of, I guess, topical touch on your journey. Talking not square one or anything. We're not going to start from the beginning of your life till now, all these years, but kind of going from like college area.
Yeah.
When you were going through school and stuff like that, and that was where that came from. From you were saying couch surfing and stuff, and trying to find that passion, but just constantly, just consistently creating those habits.
Yeah.
To create that final destination for your passion, and so that's where it kind of. That spark finally met its make, is when you consistently made that habitual, okay, I'm going to do this, and you just made it habit after habit after habit. Was kind of like what you did, or
Well, I mean, that was where, my desire to do marketing came from. But I was blowing it back then. I had not really any positive habits or anything like that. Like there were some, aspirations there. But man, I was a broken mess, and I think the passion was there, but very misguided, misdirected, didn't really know where to put it all. So ended up, finding myself, battling with addiction. And so, as the story goes, if you don't find, if you don't find purpose, you end up seeking pleasure for distraction.
yeah,
And, so that's really kind of where I was at, is that I had a lot that I wanted to do. But I had a lot of insecurity that kept me from going after it. And I didn't have any guidance or next steps, or, didn't know where to start. And that was part of that, just insecurity of just, not knowing where to go. and, just, broken relationships and things like that. And just ended up distracting myself. Didn't know that I wanted a distraction. Didn't know that I needed a distraction in my life until I found it. And, it's not like, I think a lot of people are just kind of touching on addiction a little bit. I think a lot of people understand that to be like somebody has a hole in their life that they're trying to fill. And I had no hole, you know. Um, I just never related to that. I've been guilty of kind of saying that and repeating that, but then, once I've kind of like stepped into my greater understanding of that addiction and being able to help people through that, I never related to having a hole in my life. I felt like I was having fun and having a good time, and I didn't know how much pain I was in. It wasn't a hole, it was pain, and I think that I think to an extent that we all battle with the pains of reality, right? The pains of life, right? Nobody is, nobody is safe from those, right? But if you, for one, if you don't have the grace of God in your life, the forgiveness to let that go and to heal from that pain, and then you don't have any purpose that is guiding you toward or like driving you toward pushing past that pain, right? Then you end up just being overwhelmed by it and needing to distract yourself from it and to numb yourself from it. And that's where I found myself, right? And so it wasn't until I really didn't even know, right, the preparation that I was going through when I gave everything over to God, and everything was all about just personal growth and spiritual growth and working on my relationship with God. And I always had a desire and a passion, for leadership, which led me into a lot of leadership type teachings, which led me into, just being honed and, and encouraged, to be, that type of person, right? And then it set good habits, right, of reading, in order to really, gain this healthier way of living, not just a healthy spiritual life, but a wholeness, right, of a healthy life. Then I had to create those habits in my life that I could anchor myself with, because before, the only thing that was constant in my life was my drive to get high, and now I needed, I had this anchor of my relationship with God, but I needed an anchor daily of these habits that I would set in my life, that have, really ultimately led, to success, in other areas of my life. And that looked like creating just creating a routine, right? Of daily consistency, of, working out regularly, controlling what I could eat. And, it also, just part of that recovery phase. And, the recovery phase, along with like spiritual growth, leads you to really focusing just on the things that you can control.
Yeah.
Right. And so, a lot of people see that as only as, well, I need to let go of the things that I can't control. Yes, that's part of it, but it's also, you got to control the things that you can control, right? And so, I couldn't control everything, but I could go to work every day, right? I could get up and pray and, talk to God, spend time in prayer and worship. I could read my Bible every day and set a consistent habit that way. I could exercise every day. At some point, I had free time to do that if I did. And then, like I said, I can control, healthy eating habits and things like that. The consistency of going to church and being around, other, positive people in my life that are encouragers, that I've had a lot of incredible people, come into my life along the way, that have all left, just, little tidbits of things that I've learned, that have just kind of really helped shape, my relationship with God and who I am. And it was really, out of that phase that was actually beyond, college years, that I was able to kind of create those habits, and that have led to, being just a more consistent person today. That, anybody, right, that is a leader, of any sort, even if it's a very, very small business, or even if it's, just being an influencer among your group of friends, like, you've got to have that consistency, right? People need that consistency. And so even though it's just, my wife Jackie and I in our business, like we do lead, other people through, these real estate transactions, and they need that consistency as well. They don't need me to be, emotionally driven, and, they don't know which Tyler they're going to get today,
Yeah.
they need me to be constant, and they need to be me to be consistent and able to, guide them, with wisdom. And it all started there, the just, reading and, spending time with God daily and just creating those consistent habits, leading me to be that consistent person and consistent leader.
Yeah. So kind of going into like more of a like a funny kind of question for you, little lighthearted question. What is like your favorite part of real estate? Talking with your clients or just sitting down at the table, signing the papers. Like, what's your favorite? Like your part? You're like, oh my god, I can't wait for this moment right here.
Um, honestly, as much as I love like listing homes and like creating this marketing plan, and I love doing like these videos and photos, and I just get really, really into that. As much as I love that stuff, um, the funnest part, honestly, to me, is just going home shopping. With buyers, like
Yeah.
good people that I've become friends with, or I'm already friends with, and it maybe we're early on in our search, and there's not a lot of pressure or stress. We could just go and see a bunch of houses and kind of explore what they're looking for, and we kind of get a read on them as we go through, and we actually, we take notes and stuff. Like, it's very professional, but also it's a little laid back because they don't know exactly what they want yet. So we can just go and have fun looking at houses and getting to know them. And that's easily, one of my favorite parts by far. Yeah.
That is, yeah. And like being able to like look at the plans and just have your little tidbits of like, hey, I wonder if that man cave could sit right here, or that ping pong table. Maybe we could set that thing over here, or like that pool table. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
different little tidbits and parts of it. That's awesome.
Well, and sometimes you see some really fun and quirky, type of properties, and sometimes you see some really like just incredible, immaculate, stuff that I would have never even dreamed that we would be, stepping foot in, much less like selling.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, just spending time with them, hanging out, having fun, seeing the quirky stuff. It's always exciting too, seeing something that they really like, and you see maybe you see the whole family light up, and you're like, oh, and the kids are picking out their rooms, and they're having fun, and maybe they're arguing over the best room, different things like that. It's fun moments,
It's wholesome, kind of.
before, yeah, because once you really start putting pen to paper, everybody gets stressed. When it comes to money, everybody
Yeah.
gets stressed. And so it's like, it's that fun part before, you have to really, really get, super real with like, all right, this is for real. Like, we're having to, put money down. We're locking into this thing. We're, getting inspections and working through all this stuff, that I help with, of course. But, before all that, we could just go to each house, and like, there's no pressures. Like, we don't have to buy this house,
Yeah.
we can just see if it's for us. And if it's not, we go to the next one, and you just have fun doing that.
Yeah. Just kind of looking around.
Yeah.
And then kind of going into our last question of the show here. Are there any kind of like good hobbies that you like doing, like fun little hobbies that you like to do on the side of real estate or any kind of job? Just playing golf or going bowling. I know like driving or anything like that. Is there any like fun hobbies that you like to do to fulfill the time?
I've got a lot of hobbies. I don't have a lot of time to spend on them, or just don't, because a lot of our flexibility, we end up just kind of hanging out. But just a few things that I really like to do. When I have the opportunity, I do like to drive cars around a racetrack. That's just by far one of the funnest experiences I've ever had. Growing up, my dad was always a car guy. He wasn't so much into sports. And so, as a kid, I grew up going around cars and going to car shows, and we go to the drag strip some. I don't get as much into the drag strip, as much as like road courses. now personally, but like I just never, imagine being able to, drive some of those vehicles, as fast as I've been able to just on the track, not necessarily like high top speed, but just pushing them to the limits, kind of thing, is incredible. And I'm still very, very, very much an amateur, but, I also, on the more chill side of things, I haven't been able to do much of it lately, but I like to throw down on the smoker.
Yes. Some really good. And I've seen some of the stuff that you smoked or you've cooked on the grill, dude. This guy can freaking cook. I'm just saying, dude. What was that? It was like rolled hot dogs where you rolled them and they were split kind of down the middle, and you put like your onions and all that kind of stuff on the top. Just recently, just made those. What were those called again? What was that? It was
We just did some hot dogs lately.
just the regular, just hot dog.
Yeah, into summer, got to craving, just a good old hot dog. Like as a kid, I always, put cheese on there and some mustard. And so we just kind of, made, a very good version of that.
Yeah,
So which was really good.
that's awesome.
Kept it simple there.
Yeah, my mom always used to tell me, "Kiss it, buddy, kiss it. Keep it simple, son."
Yeah, that's right.
And sometimes that cooking, dude, if you keep it simple, that's like some of the best cooking, dude.
Yeah.
Like when you just keep it simple and just keep it to the point. Well, dude, I think that was pretty much all the questions that I have. Thank you so much for joining me on the show, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to check them out, they're on Instagram. I'll put it either in the description or in the middle of the video. It'll be on the promote card on the top, I think so, or somewhere in the description as well. I'll put that in for you guys to check out. Remember to like, comment, subscribe on either one of these sides of this video here. Check out the last video. And thank you guys so much. Remember, my name is Jack. I have my cup of Joe. My name is Jack. His name is Tyler Henson. And I'll see you guys later on. Peace out.